What I'm about to share isn't just random noise on your screen. It's a message, a rare signal that speaks straight to you. Have you ever felt that odd tug inside, like the universe is quietly saying your name? Then listen now. What was written wasn't only words, it was a map. And somehow you're standing right in the middle of it. Sometimes what seems mysterious isn't meant to confuse you. It's meant to wake you up. The question is not why it was written. The question is why you found it at this exact moment. Think about it for a second. Life throws countless words at us every day. Messages, headlines, text, streams of information. Most of them pass by without leaving a mark, yet there are rare moments when a phrase stays, when it feels heavier than the rest, lands in your mind almost like it was already waiting for you. That weight is not random. That's the signal cutting through the noise. When something feels mysterious, our first move is usually to analyze it, to break it down logically. But some things logic alone can't hold. There are words that skip the thinking part and go straight to the deeper place inside you, the part that knows you are made for more than what you've been settling for. These words don't confuse you. They shake you. They pull at you. They remind you there's a reason you're alive right now. You might not see it yet. Timing is often more important than the content itself. Maybe you could have heard the same line a year ago and ignored it. If it reached you a month from now, you'd scroll past without a thought. But today, in this exact moment, it found you. That's not a bug in the system. That's alignment. The mysteriousness is part of the pattern. It makes your mind lean in, to question, to pay attention. Because when something is handed to us too easily, we usually dismiss it. But when it comes wrapped in layers, we begin to look. And that looking is what wakes parts of us that usually stay asleep. The puzzle isn't there to frustrate you. It's there to engage the very power that will move you forward. There's something striking about realizing words can travel across time and distance and still hit right into your life like they were made for you. That's not just language. That's resonance. It proves that communication isn't only about the person who speaks. It's about the person who listens. And right now, you're the listener. Out of everyone, you're the one holding these words inside your head. Have you noticed how certain lines from history, from books, from thinkers, from unknown voices still echo decades later? That's because some messages aren't tied to a single time. They're built to live past their origin. They're built to travel. They're built to meet you exactly when you're ready, even if you don't think you are. And here's the real shift. Mysterious words test your view, push you to stop discounting yourself. Because if something so cryptic, so unexpected can hold meaning for you, what does that say about your own life? It means the hidden code isn't out there. It's inside you. The mystery isn't the words. The mystery is that they echo in your spirit like they've been waiting all along. It's easy to assume the world is random, chaotic, without order. But every time you stumble across a message that feels like it carries your name, you get proof as a thread weaving through everything. That thread isn't about luck. It's about alignment, timing, and the strange rhythm of life that shows up when you least expect it. What feels like mystery is often recognition in disguise. Deep down, you already know when something matters. The words don't plant the seed. The seed was already there. The words are just the rain. They don't make your potential. They water it. And sometimes just a few drops make everything and you wake up. For the ground inside is split open and push something toward the light. So when you feel that strange spark while reading something you can't fully decode, pay attention. Because the writer was special, yes, but also because you are. You're the one who can pull meaning that others miss. You're the one who senses the energy between the lines. You're the one ready enough to turn mystery into movement. And here's the beauty: that moment of waking doesn't just shift your thoughts. It shifts your path. It turns a simple phrase into a compass, a quiet reminder that your direction matters. Your choices are building something unseen. Mystery is not there to hide the truth from you. It's there to draw the truth out of you. Think about this. Out of billions of people, your eyes landed here. That's not a coincidence. It's a direct alignment. A call that knows your name without saying it. You might have passed thousands of words on screens, in conversations, in books, in posts, but most of them slid by without even touching you. Then suddenly something grips you. It pulls you in a place where it feels personal, like it was made only for you. That's not randomness. That's connection. There's a quiet thread that links a message to a reader, a thought to a thinker. When the two meet at the exact crossing of time and awareness, content stops being just content. It feels like destiny knocking. When you look closely, life is full of these precise alignments. People call them signs, synchronicities, moments of clarity. They are not accidents. They're signals meant to remind you that you're not moving through life unseen. You're not lost in some endless sea where no one notices you. Something sees you. Something recognizes you. And in moments like this, it reaches through the noise to tap you on the shoulder and whisper. You're being spoken to directly. The strange part is you could easily ignore it. You could scroll past, laugh it off, treat it like another passing thought. But when you actually sit with it, when you let its weight press against your chest, you realize how rare it is to feel seen without your name being called. That's the wonder of this connection. It doesn't need to call you out by name because it already carries the energy that makes you recognize yourself in it. And that recognition is strong. It wakes you up to the idea that you're not invisible in this universe. You're not just another number in a crowd. You are the receiver of a direct transmission. That thought alone should move something inside you. Because once you see that life can speak directly to you, you stop acting like a background character. You start to see yourself as the main figure in a story still unfolding. There is a reason certain words find their way to you at certain times. They're not written only for the moment they were made. They're written to travel, to wait, to arrive exactly when someone like you is ready to hear them. And here you are. That timing is everything. Think about how many chances you've skimmed past, how many signals you've ignored, how often you've quieted your own gut. Yet even through all that, this message still reached you. That is not randomness, that is persistence. Direct connection is never about loudness, it's about clearness. 1,000 voices can shout at once and you'll ignore them all. But a single whisper can cut through if it's meant for you. That's what just happened. The words might be plain on the surface. Something deeper told you this belongs to me. This is my name written all over it. And when that happens, never underestimate what it means. The universe works in layers, billions of lives, endless choices, constant movement. And yet among that chaos, something lines up perfectly to put a message in front of you at this specific point in your path. That's not small, that's orchestration. That's proof you're not wandering through randomness. You are being guided towards something bigger than what you can see now. Direct connection is not about the message being remarkable. It's about your awareness catching it. Because awareness changes everything. The same message could land in someone else's hands and mean nothing. But to you, it arrives with weight that tells you something about where you are mentally, spiritually. It tells you you're tuned in enough to hear it. And that's rare. That's strong. This moment acts like a mirror. It doesn't just reflect the writer. It reflects you. It shows the state of your own readiness. It shows you are open, that you are searching, that you are alive enough to answer a call without even knowing where it will go. That's what connection does. It binds you to a truth larger than your current limits and reminds you that you're not drifting. You're being pulled. What if the mysterious words were less about the writer and more about the reader? About you, about your unused potential. The words point because they already know the capacity inside you is greater than your doubts. Most people go through life unaware of the vast space inside them. They measure themselves through the memory of past mistakes, failures, lost chances, and they shrink their vision to fit that old story. But when something catches you with that strange pull, it often isn't trying to introduce something brand new. It's reminding you of what has always been there waiting. Words don't create possibility. They reveal it. They don't place greatness in you. They expose the greatness that has been quietly resting beneath hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Think about the weight of possibility resting in your hands right now. Every discovery, every invention, every transformation in history began as unseen potential within someone who once doubted themselves exactly the way you do. They weren't born with certainty. They were born with the same raw human fabric you carry. The only difference is that something woke them up, something caused them to finally notice the vastness of what they could do. Very often, that awakening arrived through words that cut through resistance and reminded them of who they could become. Your potential is like an engine that has been quietly running in the background of your life. It doesn't vanish just because you ignore it. It waits. It builds pressure. It gathers strength until a moment like this forces you to hear the hum, to feel the vibration, to realize there is far more energy in you than the surface of your life has ever shown. And once you notice that, everything changes. Here's the truth. Doubt feels heavy, but potential is even heavier. You may think your fears are what weigh you down, but in reality, the heaviest thing pressing on your chest is the unused energy inside you. The possibility that keeps asking to be released. That is why you feel restless. That is why you sense something bigger waiting. It isn't fantasy, it's the pressure building from within. The strange words that grab your attention are like keys jingling in front of a locked door. They don't open it by themselves, but they remind you the door exists and that there's something important waiting on the other side. And here's the real shift. You already hold the key. The words simply trigger the realization that you are the one who chooses when to turn it. Every time you have underestimated yourself, every time you have told yourself that your dreams were too unrealistic, too bold, too far away, you placed a lid over that potential. But lids don't destroy what's inside. They only delay its release. And the longer it waits, the stronger it becomes. Which means that when you finally lift that lid, the burst of energy will be unstoppable. That's the force these words are pointing toward. It's easy to look at your doubts and think they are proof that you are unprepared. But what if your doubts are actually proof that something much bigger is pushing inside you? What if the pressure you feel is potential trying to break free? Doubt often screams the loudest right before transformation because it knows its time is short. The mysterious pull you feel is proof the countdown has already begun. What happens when you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of weakness and begin to see yourself through the eyes of possibility? Suddenly, every obstacle becomes fuel. Failure turns into feedback. Every setback becomes a setup for something larger. The weight that once crushed you begins to feel like raw power waiting to ignite. That is the true meaning of potential. It doesn't vanish when ignored. It grows louder until you can no longer run from it. And here's the important thing. These words pointing at you are not giving you new information. They are amplifying the voice you've been keeping quiet. They are echoing the truth you've been afraid to say out loud. Deep down, you've always known you were capable of more. The difference is that now you've been reminded, you've been called out, not by name but by resonance. And once that call reaches you, you can't unhear it. You are closer to transformation than you believe. The edge you are standing on is not a cliff, it is a launch pad. What feels like uncertainty is actually raw energy waiting to ignite. Most people confuse that trembling, unsettled feeling in their chest with fear. They assume it means they should step back, play it safe, hide in the familiar. But what if that trembling isn't danger at all? What if it's the vibration of your life about to shift gears? What if what you call fear is actually the pressure of potential ready to lift you into a new space you've never touched before? When rockets prepare for liftoff, the ground shakes, the engines thunder, and everything feels unstable. That instability isn't failure, it's power. That same shaking you feel in your spirit when you stand at the edge of a decision is proof you are fueled and ready. Uncertainty is not a warning to turn back. It's evidence that something within you is already catching fire. The moment before launch never looks clean or polished. From the outside it looks chaotic, unsafe, full of unknowns. But every breakthrough in history has looked like this just before it happened. Every person who ever stepped into a greater version of themselves stood in the very same space of not knowing, of lacking guarantees. And yet those who leaned forward instead of back discovered that the edge wasn't a place of falling. It was a place of rising. Think about the moments in your life when you felt like everything was breaking apart, when nothing made sense, when everything seemed unstable. Looking back now, weren't those the very times that forced you to grow? Weren't those the moments that shaped you into someone sharper, stronger, and more aware? That's what edges do. They look like endings, but in truth they are beginnings disguised as danger. The trembling in your chest, the storm in your thoughts, the questions in your mind, these are not proof you are lost. They are proof you are close. They are proof you are standing right where transformation begins. The safe zones of life rarely create growth. It is the edges, the uncomfortable spaces, that contain the energy to launch you into your next level. Launch requires trust. A rocket doesn't wait for the skies to clear, or for every variable to be perfect. It launches with uncertainty still present. The same is true for you. If you wait for clarity before you move, you'll be waiting forever. The edge is not supposed to comfort you. It is supposed to demand courage. Courage is what opens clarity, not the other way around. You may not see the full path ahead. You may not know where each step will land. But you do know that standing still will never take you anywhere new. The unease in your spirit isn't there to freeze you. It's there to energize you. It's a reminder that the ground beneath your feet was never meant to be your final home. It is a platform designed for takeoff. Think about this. If the edge were truly the end, you wouldn't feel possibilities stirring inside you. You wouldn't feel a whisper telling you there's more waiting. Endings don't come with that kind of energy. Only beginnings do, which means what you face right now is not the limit of your story. It is the ignition point of your next chapter. The great shift happens when you stop treating uncertainty as your enemy and begin treating it as fuel. That shaking is not there to scare you. It is there to push you upward. It is proof you are alive, proof you are wired for something greater than routine. You are meant to live a life that demands bravery. Every launch requires a fire, and that fire always feels untamed at first. But without it, nothing rises. Here you are, standing at the edge, feeling both the weight of uncertainty and the pull of destiny at once. That tension is holy. Tension is the birthplace of new versions of you. The real question is not whether you feel ready, because readiness is not a feeling, it is a choice. The question is whether you will trust that the platform beneath your feet was never a cliff to destroy you, but a foundation to lift you higher. The mystery isn't here to be solved. It is here to be lived. You don't need every answer before moving. The movement itself is the answer. Too many times we convince ourselves that clarity must arrive before we act. We wait and wait for the flawless plan, the flawless moment, the flawless certainty that guarantees no mistakes. But that is not how transformation works. Life doesn't hand out roadmaps in advance. The path begins to show itself only when your feet finally move. The answers are not waiting at the start. They appear during the journey. Think about it. No explorer ever discovered new lands by standing on the shore, demanding a complete map. They launched into the unknown with faith that the ocean would lead them somewhere worth finding. That same principle belongs to you. You are not meant to solve every puzzle before you take a step. You are meant to walk into the mystery and let it shape you. That is where real growth lives. Not in endless thinking about the way forward, but in actually walking it. When you move without knowing every single detail, something powerful awakens. Instincts you never realized you carried rise to the surface. Intuition that had been quiet suddenly sharpens. Strength that would have stayed hidden if you remained frozen comes alive. Action is what pulls those sleeping parts of you into motion. By staying still, you keep them buried. By acting, you wake them. The unknown is not here to torment you. It is here to stretch you. It forces you to lean into trust, to work with courage instead of clinging to control. It removes the illusion that you can predict every outcome, and in return it gives you something far greater. Flexibility. The ability to keep moving even when the path is uncertain. That flexibility is what separates dreamers from builders. Every true change in history came from people willing to move before the answers were clear. They stepped into darkness with only a spark to guide them. That spark wasn't enough to light the whole road, but it was enough to see the next step. And that's all you ever truly need. The next step, because the mystery unfolds only after you prove you are ready to move inside it. We are taught to think we need all the answers before we begin. But the truth is, answers grow from doing, not from guessing. The act of moving brings wisdom. The mistakes you fear turn into lessons that sharpen your vision. The challenges you dread become weights that strengthen your character. None of this comes to you while you sit still. It comes the moment you take action. Think about how many chances have been lost by people waiting until they felt ready. Readiness is an illusion. If you wait to feel completely ready, you may wait forever. Those who rise are those who step forward anyway, while they are still unsure, while their voices tremble, while their hands shake. That is what makes their journey powerful. Not control, not perfection, but courage. The mystery is alive, breathing and shifting with every choice. And once you engage with it, it answers back. Doors you never noticed begin to open. People you never expected appear in your path. Roads that once seemed hidden begin to shine beneath your feet. None of this is revealed in advance. It shows itself only in response to your movement. That is why you do not need the entire blueprint before you begin. The blueprint is written step by your actions. The story of your life was never meant to be read before it happens. It is meant to be written by living. Each decision etches another line. Each risk fills another page. Each act of courage builds another chapter. The mystery does not demand solving. It demands participation. It asks you to live inside it, to take risks inside it. And the more you do, the more you see that the unknown is not as terrifying as you imagined. The unknown is actually generous. It gives back to those who dare to walk into it. It reveals itself little by little, always just enough to keep you moving ahead. What you are feeling right now, the pull, the uncertainty, the weight of possibility, is not asking you to sit and overthink. It is asking you to live it. To move even when the whole picture is not clear. That movement is the real key, because the answer was never waiting at the finish line. The answer has always been in the act of moving itself. These words were not written to impress you. They were written to awaken you, to remind you that your next breakthrough will not arrive from the outside. It will rise from within you. Think about it. Most people spend their lives chasing things outside themselves. They run after recognition, approval, opportunities, or luck. They wait for someone else to hand them permission to rise. But what if the truth is far simpler and far more powerful? What if the switch has always been inside you waiting for you to turn it on? That is what this message is pointing to. Not the outer world, but the inner world. Every time you felt the push to grow, to move, to stretch yourself, that was activation trying to rise. It does not come with trumpets or big announcements. It comes as a quiet whisper, a push that refuses to stay silent. And while the world teaches you to look outward for answers, true ignition happens the moment you turn inward and see that the fire you were waiting for is already burning inside. The words themselves are not magic. Their strength comes from what they spark in you. Think of it like a match meeting fuel. The words are just sparks, small, fragile, almost nothing on their own. But you are the fuel. The meaning only ignites if you allow it to connect with the energy inside you. That is why some people hear the same message and walk away unchanged, while for you it feels alive. The difference is not the spark, it is the fuel. You have always carried potential. You have always carried capacity. But potential without activation is like a rocket standing still on the launch pad, made for the skies yet stuck in gravity. What brings it alive is not more potential, it is ignition. Ignition does not arrive from someone else lighting a flame for you. It comes from your choice to no longer sit idle with all that has been given to you. Look at your life right now. Look at the ideas you once had, the visions you ignored, the dreams you put away because you convinced yourself they were too big. That storage weighs you down. That is why you feel restless, why you sometimes lie awake with the sense that you are meant for more. Restlessness itself is a form of activation. It is your inner voice reminding you that staying the same is no longer an option. These words reaching you now are not meant to add to your pile of knowledge. They are meant to disturb your comfort, to wake up what has been quiet. Because you do not need more information, you need ignition. You need to remember that the future you are waiting for will not show up by accident. It will rise from inside you the moment you admit you already hold the code. And activation does not always look dramatic. It is not always about grand speeches or flashes of lightning. Sometimes it is as small as deciding in silence, I move now. That single decision shifts the energy of your entire life. That choice signals to your potential that it is time to work. And once you flip that inner switch, no outer resistance can stop you for long. Think about every story of transformation you have admired. None of them began with complete clarity. They all began with a decision. A decision to answer the call, to take the step, to act even when the road ahead was blurry. That is what activation truly is. Not waiting for the path to prove itself, but daring to prove yourself to the path. And here's the plain truth: no mentor, no guide, no message can activate you if you refuse to turn inward. The most powerful words in the world fall flat if someone is not ready to open. But when you are ready, even a single phrase can shake your entire world. That readiness is what separates those who keep scrolling from those who shift their destiny. This message is pointing at that readiness in you. It is not about being entertained. It is about being moved. It is not about hearing something brand new. It is about hearing what you have always known, hidden beneath fear and hesitation. The call was never outside. The call has always been within. The words are just a reminder